Hey there, Regina Andler here with today's Pieces of Me. Pieces of Me is a 12 video series program or videos that we're putting out here to give you a sneak preview into the Finding Me program. Today I want to talk about your life in general. It's one of the first things we talk about in the Finding Me program. Now, understand that Finding Me, the name of the program, is actually an acronym. Each letter stands for something different. The F is the focus and foundation piece of the program. In this part of the program, we kind of get an idea of where somebody is right now, where you are right now in your life. And one of the ways that we do that is we use a life wheel. Now, you may have seen some life wheels out there. There's all different kinds of life wheels. And some of them have 5 different sections, some have 7, some have 12. The one that I have, that I created, actually has 8 different sections in it. So the sections include financial or money and investments, work and career, health and wellness, friends and family, home and environment, recreation and free time, personal development, and giving back. What is a life wheel and why is it important when you're trying to figure out who you want to be when you grow up or what your next move is for wherever you are in your life? The life wheel is basically a tool that we use to rate ourselves where we are in each one of these sections. Now, the one thing to know about a life wheel, people ask it all the time. They're like, well, so do I have to have a balanced wheel so my wagon wheel isn't like, flipping and floating all over the place? Nobody ever has a balanced wheel. There's no such thing as a balanced wheel. If you tell me that you have a balanced wheel, I'm going to dig a little deeper and find out if you're making it that way or if it's really true. Because a balanced wheel doesn't really exist. What we're looking for is balance in each section. So when you look at that money and investments, that financial aspect, for example, where are you and where do you want to be? Now, everybody wants something different. That's the beauty of the uniqueness of us and being out in the world that we're in, is that everybody is unique and wants something different. There's some people who are out there that want the Ferrari, they want the big house, they want the vacation home in 3 different countries and all this other stuff. And then there's the other people who are maybe just saying, I want, my dream is to have one of those the small houses that are, the Go Green mini houses. Depending on who you are and what you want, the section of the wheel that you're thinking about is unique to you. So using the finance, the money and investments spoke of our wheel, for example, something you might look at is, where are you from a financial mental standpoint? Are you comfortable with where you are? Do you have enough money to retire with? What would happen financially to you, your family, your loved ones? What would happen if you lost your job today? Or there was some kind of a medical emergency and you couldn't work for, say, 8 weeks or even 6 months. Do you have the financial security to live the way you want to live? Now, if you live in some hyped up lifestyle, which is great if that's what you want, then you're living up here and you need the money to keep you going up there. If you're down lower, you might say, yeah, I have 10 grand in the bank and that 10 grand will sustain me for a whole year. I don't want much. I don't need much. It covers my food. It covers what I need to do. Other people, if it's anything less than 100 grand, it's not enough. So it really is unique to you. And what we do with this wheel is we go through at the start of the program and we kind of get an idea of where are you, because that is going to set the stage. That is going to make our foundation of here you are, and wherever you are, that's perfectly okay, because it is what it is. That's where you are. The question is, where do you want to be? So if it's you're trying to figure out who you want to be when you grow up, how much money you want to make when you grow up, whatever it is, you could be 60 and still saying, you know what, I haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up. You could be 25 and say, I'm still figuring out what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know yet. When you start looking at the wheel, you actually can start thinking, well, what is it that I want? And that helps you move forward. So now you can start defining what it is you want because you know where you want to go. Now, some of the things that we talk about is what right now for each one of those sections of your life is working well. So before you even go and rate yourself on a 1 to 10 scale on your wheel of every single section and say, where am I right now? What's working well right now? And what could be better? Unique to you is going to define where you place yourself on that scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I'm not even there at all. I'm not even touching this. 10 being, it doesn't get any better than this. Now, I'll tell you right now, I never have a 10 on my wheel. The reason being is for me, personally, how I look at my wheel is that there's always room for improvement. Whether it's financial, whether it's, my work and career, friends and family, my environment, whatever it is, there's always room for improvement. So I never have a 10 on my wheel. The goal is really to be maybe 7 or higher in all those areas. And you definitely want to be, 5 is the middle mark, right? So 5 is I'm doing okay. But there's a lot of room for improvement. So what we do is we look at each one of those and say, well, what is working well right now? And what could be better in this area? And now we start creating a plan to get to where we want to be based on our goals for the better. It's all about creating inspired action to get you from point A to point B. Point B being where it is you really want to go. So as we're defining that information, what this tool does for us is it helps us get a picture. Some of us are very visual, some of us are auditory, some of us are kinesthetic. We need to touch and feel. When we see this wheel and we can touch and fill it in and read it out loud, we hit all of our areas. And as you're doing that, you'd be surprised what comes up when you actually stop and think. If you look at it really quick and you look at all the different sections, money and investments and recreation and free time, you're like, well, yeah, I go out all the time and I do stuff. And then you find that all of a sudden it's like one section is, oh yeah, there's an 888 on these 3 different sections. And then there's a couple sections where maybe it's a 3 or a 4. Balance is not about them all being the same number. Balance is in your life in that section. What does balance look like for you? If you're in that money and investment section, financial, and living on $10,000 a year works for you, then you're all set. But if $10,000 a year doesn't even come close to scratching the surface of what you need for a month, then there's a lot of work to be done. It's very unique to the individual. So this is our tip for today. Little insight into Finding Me. The next program for Finding Me starts on September 7th. Over the next 10 more sessions, we're going to have more insights moving into the rest of the acronym of Finding Me. If you want any information on the program itself, you can go to www.lifeofmydreams.com for all of the details for the program, what comes with it. There's a whole bunch of bonuses that come with it as well. Each session has a 1-hour weekly module that's live that includes a workbook and exercises for you to work on to create the life of your dreams. So that's all I have for today. We'll see you tomorrow for part 3 of our 12-part series. and have a great day. Bye for now.